just as it has been in the United States for Jamaica, one of the issues that has been presented as an issue that is economic in the way of its impact has been the pandemic. So to that end, we are announcing today also that we will assist Jamaica in COVID recovery by assisting in terms of the recovery efforts in Jamaica that have been essential to, I believe, what is necessary to strengthen not only the issue of public health, but also the economy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What up, Leighton?
Yeah,
Leighton's in early today.
I saw a funny tweet. I thought it was funny anyway about Kamala. It said, "I'm no geneticist, but how does somebody who's half Jamaican and half Indian become African American?"
When it becomes politically feasible to do so.
Bingo.
What is the title of today's show? All I see is Justin's retirement from F.
Yeah, from
Could
that.
be anything.
F that. You already know. I don't want to talk about it. How about that?
From fantasy football?
That's the thing.
There it is.
I was going to say fucking, but maybe the two are
I
intertwined.
wondered for a second, but... Can you read this? I can read it for you if you don't want to, die, Justin. Good morning, Vatos. Justin, I thought you might have trimmed that stash a little more Reiki. I see. That's a Pete interview.
That was a hell of an interview. I thought that was
good for Pete.
I thought that was an excellent episode. Yes, I did have to look good for Pete. I'm fixing my hair and everything.
Cleaned up the podcasting room and everything a little bit.
Yeah, Mark will be getting no such treatment on the follow up today. I am not going to be fixing my hair, and it's just going to be. I'm gonna flop down with a pack of meat sticks, and we're gonna get after it.
Get after what remains to be seen.
Yeah. So we'll figure that out as we go.
Dad, you're in a different room today.
I am. I got sick of not having an office area since, we've got a roommate and all now. And anyhow, we cleaned up his room and I took over half of it for an office. I have a desk and computer set up. I got a new computer, like a actual PC, so I can expand and do a little better with, real stuff and maybe video games. Anyhow, editing and catting and all that important stuff. But, anyhow, so I took it out of the box the other day, turned it on, used it for an hour or so, changed the browser and all that shit, that you do when you first get a computer. And then I got the office set up, moved it in, and it fucking doesn't turn on. So I spent an hour on, tech support the other day, and they make you run through all the stuff. And they're like, okay, press this button, hold this button, and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, did the error message go away? And I'm like, yet again, there was never an error message. It doesn't, but you got to go through the whole fucking process. And then they're like, okay, we'll send you a new one, but, I didn't complain. I didn't bitch to the guy. I'm growing up, I just know that that's just the way it is.
Wait, we're not allowed to complain about things when we grow up?
No, I just learned it doesn't really get you anywhere, especially okay, I used to have this method, right? You're having an issue with a company, your cable company, your car insurance company, right? And this is over a decade ago. You call them, and when you're not getting what you want, I say, look, just put me through to your disconnection department or your cancellation department or whatever. I'm just going to cancel my service. And they go, oh, they get you up to a manager and they do whatever they do and they sell you some shit and they give you a discount and they keep you on. Then it got to a point where you do that and they go, okay, here you go. We'll go ahead and disconnect you. And you're like, no, don't call my bluff, So we've moved beyond that in the customer service realm of society. You might be a little too young to remember customer service existing. That was a thing. You could talk to a person. They might give you a discount if you had a problem. They wanted to keep you as a customer. Salespeople worked on commission. It was beautiful. Now, things aren't like that, unfortunately. And,
This is what happens when you have a $15 an hour minimum wage and nobody's working on commission anymore. They just don't give a shit because they're getting paid the same whether you whether you keep your service connected or not.
I found that the thing that works best for me is just like super short one-word answers. Like, do you care to elaborate on that, sir? And just no. Like, do you want to provide example? Do you want to provide a reason as to why you want to disconnect your service? No. And it's just awkwardly like quiet for a second, and it's like, oh, okay, well, there's this deal. I was like, I don't want a deal.
Oh,
I took the.
So you don't
Let's be short.
I took
that's not your method for getting the deal.
I took the DirecTV deal one year. They gave me 30% off of my monthly subscription cost, and then I also got the whole NFL package for free for the year. So I watched every NFL game imaginable that year. Like I had 3 picture-in-pictures going at the same time. Like I'd be watching every game that was on all at once. Like I'm getting my money's worth out of this bitch. And then at the end of the year, like I didn't want to keep DirecTV at that time anyway, but they gave me such a nice deal on it. I was like, okay, I'll do this. And then at the end of the year, they're like, well, we could give you another deal for this. And it's like, nah, like I already did the deal. It was fun. I don't want to keep doing this anymore. I don't want to keep paying you money. Thank you, though.
Satellite radio, Sirius XM, they'll do that. You call and say you want to cancel, and they'll bump you down to like, I ended up paying like $10 a month instead of the $36 or whatever it's supposed to be for like years. Just, you know, the deal ends. I pay full price for like 1 or 2 months, enough to sell it, you know, and then I call them back. Nah, I want to cancel. And they, oh my goodness, well, let's get you down to this other price. So that's one that does work with. Yeah.
I didn't pay for Sirius XM for 6 years. I paid for the initial year when I first bought my truck at the time, and then I moved right after I bought the truck, and they just never turned I never got billed for it again, but they just never turned it off. And I had free Sirius XM for 6 years, and then when we bought my wife's car and got her Sirius XM set up, it was like, then they found me, like they caught me. They're like, oh, there he is. And then I lost Sirius XM in my truck. It's really so disappointing. Funny.
We used to have, all of us who we were in the car audio business. So we all got free, like they'd give us a installer free thing. And when, I don't know, they never turned it off. So had it for years and years, and like the radio started getting so old, and I'm like, oh no, if I get a new radio and I call them to like switch the radio, I'm gonna lose this, you know, same kind of thing, dude. And it eventually ended up happening. Like the old radio just finally broke, you know. But yeah, had it for many years off of that.
That's how it was with that truck. Like the CD player ate a CD and it wouldn't kick it back out. And it's like, okay, so I can replace this and like I've got a nice new CD player that I can put in it. So, but as soon as I take that out, then I'm gonna lose my Sirius XM. It's like, it can just have the CD. Like I get more value out of the Sirius XM than a functional CD player.
So I got to tell you guys a story, hurricane related, especially since it looks like Niall's here. So we finally ventured out after like 3 or 4 days the other day, and we stopped at the convenience store, and there's like this woman walking through the parking lot on her phone. She's, I don't know, in her 60s or whatever. I don't know what people are. And she's like texting on her phone, like barely putzing through the parking lot like a child would, and you would smack them in the back of the head and say, hey, eyes up, motherfucker, you're in a parking lot. You know what I mean? You want to get run over? And she's just moseying on, and like we're pulling into this parking space, and like she walks into the parking space that we're pulling into and stops and is standing there texting on her phone. Like, and we're sitting there like, what the fuck? You know, like, move, right? So, you know, she finally scooches out of the way, and we walk in the store, and she's inside with a bunch of other old people texting. And I say to Niall, my friend, you know, private conversation between the two of us. Maybe I said it a little louder than I should have, but I'm like, fucking millennials and their phones. Am I right? You know? And we go on, you know, buying our stuff, our alcohol and tobacco. And she walks up to us and she goes, excuse me, gentlemen. Like, if you guys are referring to me, I'll have you know that I lost everything in this hurricane. You know?
Love you.
And
her phone.
I love you.
Yeah, right. Her phone and her. Jesus. And I mean, of course, I don't know what level of that is true. You know, that's obviously awful, you know, if that happened. But like, you know, I'm like, well, they don't be standing in the fucking, you know, like parking lot. And I don't remember all exactly what was said, but there ends up being a lot of yelling across the store between me and Niall and this lady, and might have something to the effect of "Welcome to Florida, bitch" or something like that. I don't remember the exact words, but but it was pretty hilarious. I don't usually yell at people in public, but like fuck that lady. Like I'm being like a nerd about. I'm like, ma'am, it's a safety issue. Like you can't be pay attention when you're in the parking lot. You know, like what the fuck? This is totally irrelevant. You know. I'm sorry that you lost your home, but like, does not matter to the situation, you know. Like, Niall's like, "Oh, we're holding a candlelight vigil around pump 13." Oh, so
good times in Florida.
Yeah, good times.
Yesterday, I went out for lunch with a friend. I'll just say it, the quarterback, and we were stopped at a stop sign, and there's this dude. Clearly, he was homeless, like just moseying around. He looked completely lost. And she goes, "Do you think he's like a meth head or something?" And I was like, "I don't know why you went straight there." But then he like picks up this bag of empty Cheetos, and she goes, "Oh, that's really nice. He's like cleaning the streets." She was gonna feel really bad at first, and then he looks in the bag of Cheetos, sees there's nothing in there, and angrily throws it on the ground, and we just start laughing. No, he just wanted to see if there were Cheetos.
Old dirty road Cheetos.
Poor guy.
You know, when you see people picking like cigarette butts out of ashtrays, that was always like sad to me. But the Cheeto dust guy is definitely sadder.
Yeah, it's like you wanted there to be Cheetos in there, buddy.
Maybe he was hoping for something else, like money. I don't know.
Well, Leighton brought up Indian call centers earlier, and I thought of Kamala. She couldn't make it at a call center, but
that freeze frame face of hers is hilarious. There, it's like a goddamn mummy.
It is our lowest income communities and our communities of color that are most impacted by these extreme conditions and impacted by issues that are not of their own making. And so absolutely. And so we have to address this in a way that is about giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. And if we want people to be in an equal place, sometimes we have to take into account those disparities. And do that work.
Reptiles. They're reptile people.
Oh yeah. You're the one experiencing the hurricane down there.
I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, I don't see much relief. Okay, so actually getting reports from Niall today. He tried to go to work today. He can't because the areas he works in are the places that, like, you know, it hit. So it's like the roads are flooded. He can't get there. I think they finally got the interstate open again yesterday. So it's pretty rough down there. We're at our house. We could have left if we really had to, but the roads were flooded for a few days. You know, people were driving through it and surviving, but you know, it's not really something that you want to do unless you have to, and we didn't have to. So we waited until the water receded, but it wasn't too bad around us. I mean, you drive around, you see some stuff messed up. We got a lot of winds. The trees are all angled a different direction now. The telephone poles are all angled a different direction now. Like, that happens after any one of these hurricanes. But yeah, down like on the coast, like let's say like the Fort Myers-ish area, you know, it's really messed up, you know, pretty far inland in some areas. So I don't know what they're doing down there. I mean, it's a ton of work that, you know, I mean, just, it always amazes me, that when something like this happens, like we were in Tennessee last weekend, and on our drive back, we were driving a bunch of power company trucks coming back with us, you know, like they're getting ready for this. So I think just our power company alone brought in like over 1,000 people from like out of state to help get power back on and everything. So we were without power for like 3 or 4 days, which was pretty good because Irma was 9 days. But yeah, I mean, there's people who aren't gonna have power for months, you know, down in like Fort Myers and stuff, that general area. The map, like if you like the map is going to be redrawn of like some of these areas and some of the islands and stuff because they're gone or half of them is missing. Like shit like this really does like reshape like an area sometimes. It's pretty incredible. And it's pretty amazing that, yeah, they mobilize so many people, resources, machinery, workers to just get in and start cleaning this up and just make it happen. And like, meanwhile, like, I don't know, I get in some sort of weird, like, it's almost like vacation, but it's not. You can't really do much work because the ground's still wet. You can't go to work, you know, you have no power. It's getting like this weird like mode. I don't know. I'm just really impressed that people are just like, all right, let's go get really dirty and clean this shit up. And I'm glad they're out there to do it for us. Thank you for your service.
So it also sucks that the hurricane was so disorganized that it hit like people like you and Niall who are white. Like it's only supposed to hit black people and women, but
it hit a lot of white men. I can attest to that. You know, my area is full of racist white men, and you know, but down there on the coast, probably a lot more minorities. Down there in, in Fort Myers.
If y'all would have just gotten vaccinated, it wouldn't have been nearly as bad.
That's what it is.
Oh fuck. Yeah, it's it sucks, you know, and like, you know, like that lady like complained about like her home, you know, like that's obviously unfortunate. We buried a lot of animals, you know. Niall dug his first hole. So that was something, you know. It's, you know, shit happens, you know. We all have some sort of what have you, but just got to try to be better prepared next time. I couldn't imagine living on the coast like that. Like, just because when a hurricane happens, like you're gonna get flooded, like it's gonna happen. Like and then if we want to talk about the whole insurance thing, like the government funded insurance, like if you live on the coast, like regular insurance company will insure you because why would they? So you get government subsidized insurance, and everybody gets to subsidize you living on the beach. It's, you know, pretty silly. We see the same thing like in Texas, like in Houston, I think it is. Like it's built on a floodplain. So a hurricane comes through, it floods, and they're like, oh my God, climate change and poor people, and, you know, the same kind of nonsense like we see from Kamala here, you know. And it's like, maybe people aren't supposed to live there, you know, or if you want to live there, you
Right.
have to be responsible for fixing it when it inevitably floods. Like it's just the way it is.
Mother Nature tends to give out these cues that are like, hey, this isn't somewhere you should be. Just look at like the entire wildlife population of Australia. Mother Nature is pretty clearly saying, go the fuck away. But here we are. We just keep doing it.
A large portion of Louisiana's like interstate system is a bridge. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you built a state on a swamp. but when I was in,
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say when I was in Louisiana back in April. I mean, there was still a lot of damage from the hurricane that went through in 2020, and I had 2 sets of aunts and uncles who were just moving into their houses 2.5 years later. So that's crazy. I'm not used to like hurricane damage like that or any kind of storm damage like that up here.
Well, it's like Katrina when it hit. It was like New Orleans is a fucking fishbowl. Like, were you really that surprised that it flooded the way it did? Like,
Yeah.
it's not built for withstanding that sort of thing. And you know, being in that part of the world, you would think that you would build it to. It's kind of like the distribution center that I work at. I work for a liquor company. They didn't put a single drain in a floor anywhere in the distribution center. Like everything we work with is liquid, and there are no drains
In glass
anywhere
bottles.
in the building. Yeah, all glass, all liquid, no drains anywhere. Like this was not well planned out. Like New Orleans is sort of a similar build. It's like what the fuck.
You don't have to be a fucking fortune teller to realize that eventually liquid's going to get spilled on the floor of that that establishment. Oh man, and I mean, it's if you want to live somewhere cool, someone's just got to accept the fact that, you know, stuff like this happens, and you know, you can't cry too hard about it. Is kind of the point. You know, you need to be prepared for it and be ready to take care of yourself, and you know, understand the fact you might be without power, or you know, your house might just mysteriously get washed away one day. You know, it happens.
Well, Kamala's not crying for you either. She's only crying for certain types of people down there.
Yeah.
That's right.
For equitable reasons.
That's like we live on the New Madrid Fault. Like I've accepted that one of these days the Earth is just going to open up and swallow all of us. Like that's the inevitability of
Is this
living on.
hollow Earth theory?
No, this is like earthquake country theory.
Okay.
Maybe they will accept you as their people. If you land on your feet, you know, and depending, I guess.
I was having some interesting conversations with my kids about hollow Earth and pear-shaped Earth, and
This dude is having all the fun conversations lately.
yeah, we have a lot of fun conversations. They both kind of look at me like I'm crazy, but at the same time, I think they may be going to school and asking weird questions of their teachers. So if if I do get DCS called on me by the school, at least I know it was for a good reason.
Tutorial Earth or nothing. I met somebody this weekend who I guess seriously believed, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it was a new one in the non-rotational Earth, that it's round or whatever, but it doesn't rotate. And it was a centrifugal force argument that he was using.
Interesting.
Yeah. He said that you know why don't you weigh less on the equator than the poles? And I mean, I don't know. There's probably an answer to that. And anyhow, I brought it up to Niall there, and he's like, "Oh, you do. It's like 0.5%."
You should write into Owen.
Yeah. Dear Mr. Benjamin. Dear BB.
Question.
Oh shit.
Well,
We were
Justin,
also
your
talking
kids-
about.
I was trying to segue, but you screwed it
I
up.
was gonna say, sorry.
Now go
We were
ahead.
also talking
I just saw his headlock.
I'll bring it back.
Go ahead. I wasn't ready for that.
We also talked about how Helen Keller didn't write any books and Anne Frank wasn't real. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to screw up your segue.
No, it's all right. I don't know what to do.
I never
now.
bought into the Helen Keller thing. That always seemed crazy to me.
Yeah, I remember as a kid being suspicious of Helen Keller. Like, what? She
Yeah.
couldn't see or hear. She's writing.
I
down
didn't
books.
know who the fuck Anne Frank
Or talk,
was, so it
like
didn't matter
nothing.
to me. Yeah.
Yeah, she can talk too, right? Like, well, she could for 6 months. It's like, yeah, I remember everything that happened to me when I was 6 months old.
Sure.
Malding?
I mean, if she was blind and deaf, like, what was she talking about?
She was writing about what does this mean? What is molding? Trey,
Balding? Molding? Is this a
So-
puzzle,
Molding.
Trey? What's going on here? Yeah.
this is
No, I
this is
stopped letting them do those, like, take those, like, cast shapes of my penis for dildos and stuff, because it's just
Anyways, our
the
story
commission
today
and the
is-
royalties were.
Oh, shit.
molding equals
Probably.
salty. He saw because he lost.
I wouldn't know. I deleted the app. Don't even
Did
know
you?
what my score was.
Oh, yeah, Mark is 96% chance going to beat me. Oh, we didn't
Yeah.
discuss that. Well, congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. You got Ayuk. If you get a big game from Ayuk, you got a chance. But I'm not going to celebrate
Yeah.
early. Dag.
All right, well, cool. I'm glad you're humble.
But I think I have this in the bag.
Yeah, I think so.
Look at Carlos. He's saying he was suspicious of the Auschwitz movie back in the day.
Is it in
We got
Mexico? Do they show Holocaust stuff in Mexico?
nothing. I don't know. Maybe they showed boy in the striped pajamas.
Lord.
I felt like everybody else, like when I was in like middle school or whatever, like even if you like high school, like I didn't like people talk like I didn't know anything about like the whole like Holocaust, I guess, but it seemed like everybody else around me did. Like they were reading like the Diary of Anne Frank, and then I was like, what? Like I don't even know what this is. Like what? I don't know if like I slept through like days in history class or if they hadn't taught us that yet, but other kids were like into the Holocaust or something, or it was cool to read the Diary of Anne Frank. I don't really know what was going on there, but it's totally possible that I just wasn't paying attention to.
I don't think I ever read the Diary of Anne Frank. I read a Hitler biography at 11 years old.
Man, that makes so much sense. It's like,
I read it in like 3 days.
Couldn't put it down. Great book.
And everything about the next 19 years now makes complete sense.
And I was reading historical fiction about smuggling rifles in the Civil War. Wow.
That
Things
makes
really
sense,
do
too.
mold us, don't they? Wow. Oh, sorry. That all just some pieces just fell into place there. Sorry, I put it back. Oh fuck.
Also, supposedly, Trey, she wrote it in a ballpoint pen, which weren't invented until the 50s.
You know, in Puritan culture in the 1630s, it was actually required that everybody keep a diary, including 12-year-olds.
Nice. I'm fine with
But
that.
it was a different time. Kids were smarter back then.
Now we all just do a Substack.
Or Facebook wall if you're lazy.
Yeah.
Carlos thought
Instagram
the
if you're
Germans
cool.
and the Jews were in a brother war. He said they both look white to him. Oh, sorry, I took it down. Anyways,
I had to
things
tell
we
them
learned in
apart.
school. Football
Yeah.
season canceled after slave auction video discovered.
I'm curious of this.
Is there a
What,
video or is there no video?
I don't think the video is on the post. It seems
Okay.
like I have read three different articles about this whole incident, and it seems like the whole thing was voluntary. Like it was a big joke. The kids, like the football team, was all just having fun with it. But naturally, kids aren't allowed to have fun without it being.
slave auction or like a player auction? Because don't they do like, isn't that like a thing? Like they auction off like dates or even just picking picking teams. Like, isn't that kind of like an auction?
Well, I
Just
think
an event that got misinterpreted, or were they like playing into it?
they were playing into it. It wasn't just like a.
Is it offensive that like if you're just picking teams for basketball or football, like are black people offended that they're picked first and whites are picked last? Is this a thing?
I say, are you offended that you always get picked last?
I don't always get picked last. Not anymore.
Do the team captains have to actively like pick like a white person first and like you can't take the big black dude first? That's obviously like you gotta sort of play into it. It's a little political nowadays, you know. Kids are probably pretty aware.
Yeah. The day after they were forced to forfeit Friday night's road game after a video showing players taking part in a slave auction. They're just not detailed about what the slave auction was.
Yeah, they never are.
No.
Yeah. Did they have a big livestock scale on hand? You know,
They're
really,
canceling
how
the
much-
entire season. This is like there's got to be black players on their team, and they're canceling. I don't know this.
Like I personally think like it's hilarious, you know, like if I was like a kid and on the thing and everybody's cool with it, whatever, you know. I also am not at all surprised that like it's like you can't do that. Like the schools like be like, oh, you can't do that, you know, like but I'm also not going to be surprised that it's probably going to be a way overreach of disciplinary action or what the fuck ever because of this, that what's like necessary, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I can understand the school like you can't do that, dude. Like whatever, detention for a couple days or something. But yeah, canceling the whole season or something is just retarded.
And we found the real reason they canceled the entire season's right here. River City Varsities finished the season at 0-6. They didn't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
They suck.
This is our out, guys. Let's create an
That's
incident
how it
and
goes.
we can get the season canceled. We don't have to be embarrassed.
But you know, there had to be at least a couple kids on that team that were moderately okay. Like they had a chance to go out and maybe get like a
scholarship or something.
Yeah, get like a D3 scholarship or something. Like my senior year of high school, I think we won 3 games, but we had 4 different guys on the team that went and played D2 ball. Like they got scholarships to go play ball because we had good players, we just weren't a good team. You know, that was like the opportunities are always there. So like they're kind of taking this away from these kids, especially like odds are it's the black kids that are now going to lose this opportunity. Seems kind of
Good point.
It seems kind of
It's kind of like taking the Indian off the butter.
that's right.
Hopefully they'll get
Still
some
got the
hurricane
land,
relief at
man.
least.
Right, because the white kids on the team, they were just playing because they like to play football, and all of them got the
The kicker might be really good.
affluent parents that they're going to college anyway. This is only gonna have a negative impact on the black kids.
They're announcing an investigation into a group chat with racial undertones. I wonder if there's a group chat out there that doesn't have racial undertones.
Isn't that like a requirement for the group chat? Is if there are no racial undertones, that means it's entirely a Fed group. Like,
but it's also just because there's no inflection in text. You can really read anything as having racial undertones if you just read it with the right scary tone.
Yeah, and we can't even keep up with what's considered racist and not racist anymore. Like the okay sign.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you use the word boy at any time? Oh, mercy.
What a time. Is there anything else? Did you read that article, Justin? Or you said you read 3 articles on it. Of course you did.
I mean, I couldn't find anything that gave any good details on what was going on other than
the actual auction.
Yeah, there was nothing that actually explained what was going on in the auction. Like it was all really generic, the explanation of it. But it, like I said, it sounded like the whole thing was completely consensual. Like everybody was on board with it. It was something that was a fun, stupid joke amongst teammates, and then it got twisted into some sort of racist slave auction, and now we have to cancel the season.
I think I know what Carlos is talking about there. Are you talking about the fishing tournament? I heard about that. I didn't read anything on it, but yeah, it was in Michigan. I think you didn't hear about this, Mark.
I can't say anything. I'm just gonna go at it.
I have 3 uncles involved. I can't.
It's kind of like the Wimmer kidnapping trials. Like I can't talk about this right now.
Yeah, they were putting lead weights in their fish, the fishing tournament, and got caught. And I don't know if they made it out alive or not. I didn't hear the end of the story, but
yes, it is the fishing story.
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious. I hope there was money on the line. If there wasn't money on the line, I don't know. If there wasn't money on the line, it's extra funny. If there isn't money on the line, then it's like, okay, they have a reason. This? No. I'm always so shocked when like people get caught cheating, in some sort of thing. Because that it happens because I'm just such a rube, but I'm like, wow, people actually have the balls to try this, is always crazy to me. But then also to me, it's if you cheat in the game, what's the fun? And I'm a fucking dork, so it's, but yeah, I mean, it probably happens all the time. I mean, there's probably lots of ways to weight a fish down, or bring fish
I want to play
home.
a game of Monopoly with you and Justin's cheating the entire time, and you're just over there getting pissed off about it.
Oh, I bet if I found out about it, then we'd have to. I don't even know what would happen. Then it'd negate the game. I mean, do we got money on it?
I don't get caught cheating. It's not.
Yeah,
you gotta be smart about it.
Well, this is so back to the slave auction thing. If you don't get caught, it's not cheating.
Yeah, just use slave auctions in private.
Niall says it. No, it reminded me of a story. I had an ex who was on the cross-country team in college.
Y'all did a slave auction? That's pretty.
I did not go to the school. No, I guess the guys on the team every March would do their own March Madness bracket, but it was the cross-country girls' attractiveness bracket. And they'd fill it out, and apparently one of the girls found out, and that ended that whole thing. So I was like, some guy was just too loose with it and shared it with someone. I was like, you can't do that.
She was just mad because she got bounced in the first round.
I guarantee that's what happened.
If she had made it to the Final Four, she'd have been like, oh, yeah. But no,
Yeah.
She was only slightly above average. And
I did not ask her, my ex, where she landed in the bracket, because she seemed to be really offended by the whole thing. I so badly wanted to ask her, though.
She also got bounced in the first round.
She's below the 50th percentile. You got to dump her, dude.
See, one of the guys just needed to explain. It's look, we're not saying that we wouldn't do you. We're just saying we would rather do her.
Yeah.
this is where you ended up on the bracket. It's like, I mean, they could like get around it and be like, look, Duke was a number 1 seed and they lost. They were upset this year. Like, that's basically what happened to you, lady.
It's
We talked about the crazy hot matrix before, and it's kind of like that. There is that sweet spot where it's like, but here's the most fun. It's not like, it's not necessarily the most hot. It's like there's the most fun, like, grouping in there. You know what I mean?
I wonder if I wonder if they took like personality into account. All cross country people are weird. I found this out. They're nuts, but
oh, I know.
Oh, you know.
Dag did a lot of cross country with his heart condition.
Did you guys see the same? I just hung out at the finish line. Did you guys see the same dude who did the video on the hot crazy matrix? We played that video. I saw another one was the fuck around and find out, like Matrix or something. Corner fuck around and find out right here.
I'm pretty sure Justin made that one. Carlos is asking why.
Any
is
context?
It a cross country? I don't know.
Is it Monopoly?
Could be.
What are we whying? Why?
Why?
Carlos is asking why about something, and I'm not sure what it is yet.
Why is the hottest not always the most desirable?
Is that what he said?
Lots of routes we could take here.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we could go down that road. It's like you might have a really hot chick, but she also might have a terrible personality. Like, if that's all she's got going for her, like, and if you're doing that bracket, you're probably going to put the hottest one as a 1 seed. But then when you get to thinking about it, it's like, okay, yeah. she's definitely the preferable one to the 16 seed where she's like a 9.5 and the 16 seed is like a 7. Obviously, you're going to take the 9.5 over the 7. But then once you get into like Sweet 16 or Elite 8, it's like, all right, she's a 9.5 and this chick is an 8, but the 8 has a good personality and she can cook. So you're like, you gotta decide what's more important, like long-term fuckability or one-time fuckability. Like,
see, I knew you'd have an expanded response here.
And Carlos was just offended that we were making fun of the cross-country kids.
Yeah, I run every week, Carlos, so I'm right there with you. But they're just kids that have done it like competitively for a long time. I don't know how to describe it. Dad, can you describe it?
I don't know. I didn't hang out with athletic people.
You did. You just know that they're weird. I don't know. I got to put some.
I just meant because I assumed you were a cross-country person. So
no, they are always weird though.
Oh, see, I was just trying to make fun of you, maybe Clyde.
No, I was the basketball player who wasn't really a jock in high school. So
my wife played soccer, so she kind of, that's kind of translates to cross country. It's a lot of running.
Yeah,
but the soccer girls, that was definitely my sport of choice. To go
They're similar. There's a lot of crossover between cross country.
Similar leg structure, but something about the soccer thighs. I don't know what it is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But you know who wouldn't be into the soccer thighs? Oh, I'm being a little slow on this. Sorry.
No. When you're the one doing the Sedgway, it should be flawless.
It was so close.
It was so close.
It was good though.
This white screen here. Is it?
You're doing good, Mark. Keep it up.
It's coming. Maybe.
That's a beautiful white screen. Is this like a white supremacy joke?
I don't know what's going on. Let me try that again.
Oh.
Anyways, just to let people know, it's about the gay movie.
Bro.
Oh,
Bro.
that.
Try this again. Is it up now?
There you go. It worked that time.
Oh, no, I just have the tweet. Did you read this article? There's no way I'm reading this article.
I saw an ad for the gay rom-com or something, and I was like, oh, this is going to be terrible. Because like you're making like, oh, finally a gay. It's like, okay, like that means it's not going to be a good movie because it's not. It's just about being what it is. Does that make sense?
I was like,
you watched it, Mark?
No, I was watching football and the ad came on, and I wasn't like looking up at the screen at the time, and I would just hear like these two lisps talking back and forth, and a guy talking about fucking a 60-year-old man. I was like, what is going on? And I look up and I see that it's this ad. And I was like, turn this off. What is this? But it's doing
Yes,
bad
I
at the
did
box office.
I did read the article. Apparently, this movie has been well reviewed by everybody. It's got a great Rotten Tomatoes review score. It's got
Yeah, I
great
bet it does.
great critical reviews, everything else. Like, I don't know that I buy any of that, but supposedly it's like really good movie, but nobody's going to see it. And the reason nobody's going to see it is because you're all homophobic.
Look, I doubt that everyone not going to see it is all because of their homophobia, but I will openly admit that I am not seeing it because of my homophobia.
Ditto. If I go see a romantic comedy, I want there to be at least some mild chance there might be some like boob. And I already know going into this one that there will be a 0% chance of boobs. So
you'll see some boobs, that's for sure.
And in fact, there's way too high a chance of penis, and that's like I'm
Moose
definitely
Knuckles
out on
City,
that.
dude. Mm-hmm. You know you're going
Knuckleville.
Moose Knuckles, the male equivalent of Camel Toe. Mark. Yeah,
I got you.
This is like the B-Dubs explanation, but yes.
I don't know. I'm proud of myself for not knowing this.
I don't see movies that I don't want to see, and I don't see most new movies. I don't really want to see most rom-coms because most rom-coms are not appealing to me at all. So the thought of I'm supposed to go see this new male rom-com is just and I'm sorry, not even male on male rom-com. Sorry, because you could have a male rom-com, I guess. That's whatever.
Yeah.
Straight, right?
I think that's called The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. I can't remember.
Yeah, or fucking any of them with Adam Sandler. I don't know. But yeah, I just don't pressure me to see some shitty movie that I don't want to see in the first place. I don't see any of your fucking superhero movies.
Wedding Crashers. Wedding Crashers would be a good male rom-com.
Yeah, Wedding Crashers was acceptable. I might even be willing to watch that again. I haven't seen it since the first time I saw it 10 years.
It's been a while
15,
since I've seen that.
Almost 20 years ago. Oh my God, I'm old. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Whew.
What is your favorite rom-com, Justin? Is it Wedding Crashers?
Probably. Yeah, I would probably put Wedding Crashers up there at the top.
I can't think of anything right now.
I can't actively think of any. I think I saw Wedding Singer once. That might have been okay.
One of the worst movies I ever saw was when the girl asked the guy to be her like maid of honor during the wedding, and then they end up getting married. She thought he was her best friend, and he had more feelings for her than she thought. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, what was the name of that one? Fuck.
It was a terrible movie though.
Yeah, I've seen it. It wasn't good. Just Married with Ashton Kutcher and Brittany Murphy. That was pretty good. It was fun.
Oh, they're both hot. I'd see that.
Is the one where Ryan Reynolds is initially fat and then he gets skinny? Is that a rom-com? Would that be considered a rom-com?
Yes, that movie's terrible.
You don't like that?
It's
a movie. I watch it every Christmas.
Wow, we're learning. We're learning so much about Mark today.
It's just there. There are Christmas lights in the background. There are funny parts.
What was that? Love Actually. I don't know that it was necessarily a rom-com, but it was actually pretty good. Which it's like an assortment of like a dozen different stories all rolled into one movie. It wasn't terrible.
Carlos is watching movies with Pete Davidson.
And time travel. That's heavy.
Is it Pete and Kim in this one, or is the actress someone else?
How accurate is the time travel? That's what I want to know, because the suspension of disbelief with time travel stuff is hard for me, because it's always all over the place. We talking time cop rules. We talking Terminator rules. You go back and forth. We talking hot tub time machine rules. There's a lot that goes on.
Dag has put a lot of thought into time travel.
We need to do
time travel stuff.
No, we need to do a time travel episode.
It never makes sense. It's a paradoxical impossibility. I don't get it.
Yeah, we got to go into the grandfather paradox and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. If you do the nasty and the pasty, can you become your own grandfather?
This
So
is
anyway,
all
this
film
movie, they're complaining because everybody's homophobic and won't go see it. I said in the Twitter chat, like, when you get some really niche, like sci-fi movie that doesn't do well in the box office, like they don't blame it on the fact that everybody hates sci-fi. They made it for a specific audience, and obviously that's who's going to go see it. Like you made a gay like rom-com. Who did you think was going to go see this other than gay people who are interested in rom-coms? Like it's not homophobic. It's just you marketed it to a very specific base. Except that, your base is, I don't know, 5% of the population. So odds are you're not going to get great numbers.
I wonder, like, how many gays want to watch this movie.
Tanning machine.
Is he being serious?
It's the same basic premise. It's a tanning machine. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, that's hilarious. I don't know if he's being serious or not. I hope he was making that up because that's fucking funny. Well, like,
This
here's
is
the thing, like,
probably true.
I feel like the gay cowboy movie, which I never saw, but I feel like that wasn't necessarily like marketed as like it's a gay, like here's a movie, and it could have a good story and involve gay people or whatever. That's like fine, right? Like that's fine. And that could be a movie that you might be able to convince more straight people to see, in my opinion, But when the movie solely exists to be the first gay rom-com, like there's no hope of it being a good movie there. You know what I mean? So it's just a different thing. I don't know what box office or how Brokeback Mountain ever ended up doing, but like it just seems to me like something that could have been like a good movie, like in cinematographical history or whatever. But this thing just seems like a pile of crap that they served up just for this purpose. And so then when they want to scold you for not seeing it, fuck off.
I don't remember what year Brokeback Mountain came out, but I did have a friend who saw that Heath Ledger was starring in a Western movie, and he liked Heath Ledger, so he went to see it. He was like, "Oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be."
See, that's hilarious to me too, when you don't market it as a gay movie and then you trick people into seeing it, because I'm sure that was a little more graphic than any of us want.
If you knew what you were getting yourself into, and you knew that that was a part of it, it wasn't a bad movie. Like it was pretty good.
Here we go.
but like, yeah, I can understand, like, if you didn't know that there's going to be some pretty aggressive cowboy butt sex going on, you might get a bad taste in your mouth from that movie. Like,
yeah, I never saw it.
Among other
but
places.
it wasn't a gay movie. It was like that wasn't the
what definition of gay are we talking here?
Okay, so there's some gay shit that happens, obviously, but that wasn't like the central focus of the movie. Like, it wasn't trying to be a gay cowboy movie. It was a movie about like what happened in life with these people and all of that stuff. Like the gay part of it was just a part of it. It wasn't. Yeah.
I'm gonna stick.
It's
with
the whole thing of like, you murder one person, you're a murderer for life, versus, hey, if you do some gay stuff in college, it doesn't mean you're gay. It just means some gay stuff happened at some point in your arc. $20
is $20. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, high school sports shenanigans, hazing. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't mean you're gay. It just means you did some gay stuff.
That's right. Just because you conducted a slave auction with your high school football team doesn't mean that you're a racist.
Doesn't mean you're a slave owner. Like, can't get labeled that forever.
That's right.
I am shocked that the NFL draft is still a thing at this point. Just because there's so much money surrounding it. I mean, I don't know how
there's a guy at a podium when they do that.
Oh, they're like talking about their bodies and everything. It's I better not give
looking
them
in their
any
mouths.
They literally have them go do all these workouts and stuff so that they can show off how fit of a physical specimen they are, and they're like, yeah, look at all this. Look at this guy's 40 time and how much weight he lifts, and it's like, I mean, it is straight up slave auction.
Comparing lineage.
And it's typically the owner that makes the final call on which player they're drafting. So they're coming at it at some point.
One of these days, that will be the end. It'll be
I'm sure an
the whole-
article is somewhere.
the whole thing will just be done by ping pong balls. And
Remember, guys, it's not about equality; it's about equity.
It's all about equity.
anyway.
They were like talking about taking away draft picks or like moving like teams down like certain draft spots in the NFL if they didn't hire like a black coach. Like this was actually a rule that they were talking about. It got squashed, but pretty insane.
Yeah.
What a world!
Well,
Aren't the Dolphins losing draft picks or something because of the whole Brian Flores thing?
I'm not sure what the resolution was there. They got their own. They got more stuff to worry about now.
Yeah, no shit.
They fired the coach who, do you see that? They fired the coach who evaluated Tua and said he didn't have a head injury.
That guy got scapegoated.
They're like, well, look, man, we need you to fall on the sword.
Yeah.
Somebody's gotta.
Yeah, they're like, sorry, you're not taking the whole league down, or we're not going to let the whole league go down for this. So either you get to go willingly, or we are going to burn you out for good.
It's like here's the amount we're going to give you, and then here's the NDA we need you to sign.
Yeah, it's like get fired, take this buyout of your contract, go away for 2 or 3 years. We'll let you come back and have another job somewhere else later on. Like you just need to disappear for a while.
That's this comment here from Niall. We've talked about this, and I always thought this was so funny because it's almost more insulting that like you have to bring a black guy in, interview him, and then not hire him.
Yeah, it's always like, look, man,
you're
you're not going to get the job. We're only going to interview you because it's part of the rule.
You got to build his hopes up and then crash them so surely, you know.
Like I'd be like, I don't want to be interviewed for this job.
Yeah, it's almost insulting. Like, no, find somebody else, and then they end up hiring the black guy that they bring in that you turned down because you didn't want to be humiliated like that. Irony.
Alan Mosley on his sports ball show a couple weeks ago was talking about the whole. There was an article and a video that came out about the lack of diversity amongst amongst NFL coaches, and like how black coaches don't get a fair shake and all of this, that, and the other. And it's really funny how they just completely leave Mike Tomlin out of that conversation. Like he had nothing to do with any of it. Like the dude has worked for the same team for 16 straight years. Like turns out if you're successful, you get to keep your job. But like
Tony
all of
Dungy.
right. Like he retired. He didn't. And at the times that he had good stints in places, he kept his job until it turned around and they started sucking, and then he would get fired. Like the fact that Herm Edwards still has a job at fucking Arizona State
he got fired.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he got
When
fired on the field after a game a couple weeks ago.
Oh well,
it's a funny video to watch.
I missed it. I would say the fact that he had a job up until a couple weeks ago is like a testament to the fact that they will keep letting these people try over and over again, regardless of how terrible they are.
But Lovie Smith is in his third stint as a coach. He was decent with Chicago, but awful with Tampa, awful with Houston so far, awful with Illinois when he went to college. So
real class act, though.
Lovie?
Yeah. Yep.
Did something happen in Tampa when he was there?
No, it's a league joke.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. It's a real classy guy. Yeah.
A few people will get that one.
Yeah, like Mark, you're like
real firecracker.
Yeah. Like Mark's a gym rat,
It's like not real athletic, but just a real grinder.
Yeah, he gets after it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carlos is the firecracker. Got a lot of spunk.
Yep. Oh yeah, good times.
Is Clyde winning this week?
I don't know. I deleted the app. Who's he playing?
You really did just give up completely. Did you lose to
what?
Stephanie?
There's one league that I'm winning in, and it's the only one that
Yeah.
matters. And if you give me your PayPal, I'll send you money so that I can take my winnings home at the end of the season.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my PayPal in the comments, and anybody can send me money here.
Everybody can send Mark $20.
Yeah, $20 is $20.
That's right. Jesus.
There's a lot. I don't know if you know this, but in that league, Justin, the top 8 teams make the playoffs.
Aren't there only 10 teams?
There are 10 teams, so only 2 miss out on the playoffs.
Wow, you got to really suck to miss the playoffs in that one.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's also
luckily
you get money if you win second. You get your money back if you win third, but obviously you win the most at first.
I mean, I'm shooting for first. I think after I win this weekend, that'll put me in either second or I'll either be in second or third. I can't remember. I was looking at it the other day. That's the only league I care about anymore. All the rest of them, I'm just gonna remove everybody from the starting lineup, take zeros for the rest of the season, and say fuck it.
I like how we're on a show with a league, and you're like, I don't care about that league anymore. You still have a shot.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
You can go on a winning streak.
If I've lost all 4 games, what's like my best possible
Sneaking
outcome?
into the playoffs. What is it, top
Yeah.
6? Does that make the playoffs in our league, Justin? 4? Oh,
Top
yeah.
4,
Oof.
top 4.
Not looking good. Not looking good.
Not great.
Yeah.
I had better hopes for myself, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little disappointed.
The one week that I had a good week, Goon scored 180 points. Like, the whole thing has been just fuck me. So
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of points.
Jack, Brady, and Evans, they had their best game of the year yesterday, so you have that going for you. They seem to be connecting well.
Well, at least I put Brady back in this week.
Yeah. He finally
One
had
week I swapped him
decent
out. He did
game.
great.
It's
Yeah.
just too bad they're playing the Chiefs.
Yeah, now my kicker.
Did they lose?
Stock up. I can't say that name. He's been kicking ass.
Do you have the
Suck-up's a
kicker
good
named
kicker.
Gay? Oh, suck up.
No, Sock up. It's the Bucks kicker. I can't pronounce the name. Suck up. Something gay like that.
If
So,
all I'm gonna say is we got to
Sukkot.
keep an eye on the league, because if Magoo and Justin are in cahoots over Magoo, or Justin's just like, look, I'll tank my
Justin's
season.
done giving up. Yeah,
He's not getting Mark Andrews. He's not getting Mark Andrews for Kyle Pittman or for Kyle Pitts. Like, that's Andrews is the top. He's the top tight end in the league. I know he got 3.5 points yesterday, which fuck everything about Baltimore. Not only did they lose, they also put up shitty fantasy numbers. Like yesterday, you know what? Mississippi State won on Saturday, upset Texas A&M, and
Yeah, that
beat
was
them
nice.
beat them in commanding fashion. I'm sinking my entire football season into Mississippi State's going to be better than expected, and to hell with everything else.
I do want to thank you for picking Iowa to beat Michigan, because that basically guaranteed Michigan would win.
You are very welcome. Yeah. If I pick the game, whatever I pick, you should put money on the opposite, and you will win a lot of money. If people had been going down our betting or our picks and betting money on the opposite of what I've picked all season, you would be like fucking rich.
Magoo is saying Mark is washed up. I kind of wish he would have put Mark Andrews in there and specified. Magoo is like vying to get me kicked off the show and get someone named Kyle in here.
There we go.
Mike Leach is a great coach, Niall. I agree with that.
He is.
He's an entertaining guy. Wait, he said go Buckeyes. Get this off of here. What's wrong with him?
Oh yeah, big Ohio fan.
Ugh. What a... shoot, I can't find the outro. Can you... Hey, Dak, say big Ohio fan again, please.
Man, what a big Ohio fan.
Retard.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, but the people are retarded.